Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So today in this video we have this Zomato dataset, and from this dataset we'll be getting some insight. So I'll be sharing this code and the dataset in the description. So this dataset has the information of all the restaurants located in Chennai. So this dataset has a URL link, the restaurant name, then its address, location, cuisine, top dishes, price for two, dining rating count, delivery rating, features, and delivery rating count. So with the help of these columns, getting we will try to get some insights. So now I'll be explaining about the code. So first we have imported some necessary libraries like NumPy, Pandas, Seaborn, Matplotlib. Then we have imported the data set using .read CSV, which is from the Pandas. So next, we have printed the first five data from our data set. So for that we have used a head. So inside this bracket, if he mention any value, suppose if you are mentioning like dot head 10 means it gives the first 10 value. If you are not giving any value means it defaultly display the first five data. Suppose if you want to get the last default five data from our data set means instead of head you need to give tail. So next, we have written a code to get the information of how much rows and column present in our column. So in our data set we have 12,032 rows and 12 columns. For that we have used shape. So next we have made a code to do some statistical measurements like counting the number of values, then mean value, standard deviation, minimum and maximum. For that we have used a describe. So next, we wrote a code to know uh, basic information about our data set, like the name of the columns, then the data type of each columns, and whether it's null or non-null. So, so in our data set, we have a column which is price for two as float data set and others are object. So later in this video we'll be converting some data set, it's a data sets data type. Like suppose we want this dining rating, then dining delivery rating column for our inside process, but it's a data type is of object, so we will be converting to integer type. As well as this price for two column also we'll be converting from float to integer. So next, as I mentioned that we'll be changing the data types column, right? So now we are doing that process. So first we are taking this price for two column, and we are as it's given as float data type, so we need it has integer data type. So for that we are using as type to convert it from float to the data type which we want. So in our case we want it to be as an integer, so that we are giving us int 64. Then in our next in our dining rating column we have some values which is mentioned as none. So first we are locating that column where we have as a none value, and we are, so as you can see, like these are the values, none value. So next we are going to replace it. Yeah, you can replace it by using mean or median, but what I am going to do means I am going to give a default value as which is 2.5, because rating will hold at the scale of 1 to 5. So what I'm going to do means I'm going to replace it by giving a default 2.5 value. Next, I'll be showing that code. Uh, as you can see, the column dining rate rating has some none value, and we are replacing it with 2.5 def value using the str dot replace. After that, we are checking whether the code which we have done has been success or not. So we have used the locate to locate the value, and every value which is none has been replaced to that 2.5. So next we are converting this dining rating column to the float. Then later on we'll be converting to integer. So we are checking whether it has been succeed or not. Dining rating, right? Float. Yes, it has been changed to the float data type. Next, we'll be changing that to integer data type. So in this code, we have changed again to integer format. Again, we are checking. Yes, it has changed from float to integer. So next, we are checking whether any none value is found in the delivery rating column. So first we did for dining rating column, and we replace those none value to default 2.5. Same process we are going to do in this delivery rating column also. We'll be replacing this none value to the default of 2.5. Yes, we have replaced it to 2.5, and we have checked, and the code has been succeed. Next, we are converting to the float type from object to the float. Then again, we'll be converting that float to the integer type. So you can see we are converted again to the integer type, and we have checked whether the data type has been changed or not. And yes, it has been changed. So next, we have wrote a code to see the column names in our data set. So these are the column names like Zomato URL, name of the restaurant, address, and these are. So next we'll be changing some columns name, or like we'll be renaming it for our convenience. So we used a rename, and inside the bracket we mentioned the columns which we need to rename. Like this is the old name of a column, and this is the new name of the column, and we gave in place value. So this code's format will be kind of like wait, I'll type it and see. Data means our data type. First you might have defined the data type inside a particular variable, right? So we need to mention that variable dot rename. Then inside our bracket we need to mention columns. Inside columns we need to first give the old name of that column, and we need to give the new name. Suppose, so this is our old name, Zomato URL, and we need to replace it to another name, so that will be the new name. Then we are giving it as in place. Yeah, so you can see. Yes, so this is the format of this code. So next we wrote this code column to check whether the column has been changed or not. Yes, it has been succeed. As you can see, Zomato URL is the older name, and it has been replaced to URL, the name of restaurant, to restaurant name. So next, we'll be removing some unwanted column. So these columns doesn't play a role during our inside process. So we need to remove those columns. So for that, we are using a drop to remove those columns. So axis equal to one. What does this axis equal to one says means One stands for column. So it removes the entire column. If you're giving us axis equal to 0 means it removes the entire row. So in our case, we need to remove those columns. So for that, we are giving axis equal to 1. So then we are giving in place equal to true. Then we wrote the code as columns to check whether the column has been removed or not. Yes, it has been removed. Delivery rating count and dining rating count is not found in this. So next we are we wrote this code to print out the columns which has a categorical values. Categorical values means like it can be string or character. It shouldn't, but it should not be a number or a point float value. So these are the columns which has categorical values like URL, restaurant name, address, location, cuisine, top dishes, and features. Next we wrote a code to display the column which has the numerical value like numbers, float values, those kind of values. So we have only three columns which has numerical values, three columns which has numerical values. These are price for two people, dining rating, and and delivery rating. So these columns data type will be of object, and these columns data type will be integer or float. In our case, it will be full of integer only, not float. So after that, we have wrote this code for box plot. So what does this box plot say means it shows the column which has outliers or not, and it gives the quartile values, median values, those things. So this is a box plot. So these are the outliers. So outliers, yeah, these are the outliers. So this price for two people column has the outliers. So outliers are nothing but like abnormal value. These can be this value will be kind of different from other value. You can say it as kind of abnormal values. It can be too high or it can be too low. These box plot doesn't applicable for categorical values. It only applicable for numerical values. Then we are checking the null value. So this is one of the important major part. So we are checking any null values in our column. To our surprise, we don't have any null values in the columns. If we have any null values, we need to remove it or we need to replace it. Suppose if there is any null values in dining rating, then we need to replace or you can remove. You can replace it by providing the mean value of the dining rating. If it's like categorical variable means you can replace it by uh, defining a variable and inside the suppose if your cuisine is having like x number of null values and you want to replace it, so you need to replace it because while getting the insight you should not have any null values. If you are having null values, you need to remove it or you need to replace it. If it's categorical value means you can use mode. If it's numerical value means you can use mean or median, but best way or the suggested way is advisable way is to use mean. So in our case we don't have any null values. So next we will be finding some insights from our data set like the top dishes, then top different cuisines, then number of restaurants in each areas where Zomato is available. Zomato, the delivery option is available. Then which restaurants cost less or cost high for two peoples. Then which restaurants has the highest and lowest dining rate as well as highest and lowest delivery rating. So first we have wrote a code to get an insight for the top dishes or the dishes which is been voted most by the people or the customer. So we have used this value counts. So what this is value count does means it counts the value and it just sorted it in descending order. So there is no need of using this sort by value. Then we need only 10. So we are doing this slicing method like 1 is to 11. So by giving this 1 is to 11, it prints the first 10 values. So from our insight, we can come to a conclusion that biryani is being liked by most of the people, or it can be said as the top dish by more like it is a top dish in North Chennai. It's a favorite dish by everyone. So I have drawn this bar chart. So we why I have used this bar chart means basically we are comparing which is the top, which is the least. So for the comparison purpose, we'll be using this bar chart. So next uh, we'll be getting some insights on the top 10 cuisines. So there are different cuisines like South Indian, North Indian, Chinese, uh, then there are many. Then fast foods, beverages, and many. There are many more. So the same process which I did in this top dishes, the same like giving value counts, then printing the top 10. So from this we can come to a conclusion that South Indian is found in most restaurants. So next I have drawn the bar chart. Then I have wrote a code to see the list of restaurants in different area where Zomato option is available. So there are different areas in Chennai like Porur, Velacheri, Ambattur, T Nagar, Tambaram, uh, Velacheri, sorry, Anna Nagar, Medavakkam, Ramapuram, there are many. So what we are going to do means we'll be writing a code and from that we will get to know the list of restaurants which has Zomato option in different areas. The same, I have used this value count which count the value and sort it on descending order. Then I just printed using slice method to print the first 10. So from this we can come to a conclusion that there are many restaurants in Porut which has the Zomato option and Ramapuram which has 248 restaurants with Zomato option. So next I have did a bar chart. Next code is like I have written a code to get to know price for two people in each restaurant. So from this we can assume that many restaurant cost around 500 for two peoples and they cost least like 2000 or 1200 for two peoples. So next I have drawn this bar chart. Next, I have written a code to get to know which restaurant costs the cheapest, lowest rate, lowest price for two people. Suppose if you are a bachelor and you are kind of budget, you are like you have kind of less amount and you want to eat outside. So at the time you won't expect food from the costliest restaurant. You will be expecting a food minimum rate. So for that we have made this I have wrote this code to get to know which restaurant costs the cheapest rate for two people. So from this, like I have defined a variable min, and inside this min I have wrote the column name dot min. So this min function, what it does means, it prints out the minimum value from that particular column. So from, and then I have located the column where it has the minimum value. So the restaurant, which the name of the restaurant which cost the less for two people is Soda Hub, which is located in OMR Food Street, Navalu. It costs around 40 rupees, and it has a dining rating of 3 and delivery rating of 2. And it's a vegetarian restaurant, as well as its its cuisine is beverage. Beverage means maximum it will be like a fresh juice, not fresh juice, like mojitos, soda content juices. So next, I have written a code to find which restaurant cost the highest price for two people. For that, I have used max function. For finding the least value, I have used min, and for finding the highest or maximum value, I have used this max. So the restaurant, which so it costs around 5,000 rupees for two people. So that restaurant is Blend Taj Club House. So it costs around 5,000 rupees, and it has a good dining rating, which is 4, and poor delivery rating of 2. Then I have wrote a code to list out the restaurant which has the highest dining rate. So for this also I have used the max function to find the restaurant with the highest dining rating. So there are many restaurants. So the dining rating of highest dining rating, which is 4. So these are like Ya Mohidin, Sukubai Biryani, SS Hyderabad, and KFC, Tasty Kitchen, Cold Stone Creamery, Pizza Republic, and it goes on. So it has a dining rating of 4. And next, I have wrote a code to find which restaurant has the lowest dining rate. For that, I have used min function over the dining rating column, and it's, oh my god, it's a 0 dining rating, and the restaurant is Leave Wrap Factory. It has a 0 of dining rating and delivery rating of 2. So it has a poor dining rating as well as poor delivery rating. So next, we have wrote a code to find the restaurant with the highest delivery rating. First, we found the restaurant with highest dining rating as well as lowest dining rating. Now, I'll be showing I'll be showing the insights of the restaurant with the highest delivery rate and lowest delivery rate. For that, I have used this max function over this delivery rate column, and have located this variable. So in this variable we have defined this max. So the restaurant with highest dining rating has the same highest delivery rating also, like 4 4 4 4. And some restaurant has the dining rating of 3 but the delivery rating of 4, and it goes on. So next, I have written a code to find the restaurant with lowest delivery rate. I have used this min function over this delivery rating column, and I have defined it under this variable. I have located it on this data set. So the minimum delivery rating is 0. Oh my god. Okay, so this Brooklyn Creamery restaurant has the lowest delivery rating, as well as it has the lowest dining rating too. Oh my god! All the branch of this particular restaurant has the lowest and the lowest dining rating as well as uh, delivery rating. dining rating of 2, and delivery rating of 0. So that's it. Thank you.